Welcome back. Today I want to continue our story about Beast Squad. I want to see how the world has evolved since the last time we visited it. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, it's probably a good idea to go watch it before this one, or, do whatever. I'm happy either way. A short recap. Naruto is no longer alone as a Jinchuriki. Konoha, having been able to collect the 2 tails and 3 tails during the war, resulted in Konoha becoming a military superpower, one so strong that it sets a new status quo for the world's balance. However, Kurama escapes, and in its ensuing rampage, it kills both Matatabi and Isobu before being sealed into an infant. During this time, the world's peace is threatened when Konoha can now no longer defend itself, basically having gone from 3 beasts to none in the span of one night. Other villages, excited by this downfall, so desperately want to destroy Konoha and take advantage of their newfound weakness, but Konoha just barely manages to scrape by and avoids an all-out war. Eventually, both Matatabi and Isobu regenerate and are recaptured, and Naruto comes of age. Sasuke and Sakura are chosen to be the new Jinchuriki of Matatabi and Isobu respectively and begin their career as shinobi in earnest. During the time of the Chunin Exams, however, Hiruzen and Kakashi conspire to bring Beast Squad, as Team 7 is commonly known, into the exams in hopes of flaunting their power. However, when Naruto's inability to control his beast causes the near death of Sasuke and Sakura's loss of faith in her own beasts, the issues presented with Beast Squad, as well as the defacing of Konoha and assassination of Hiruzen, lead to the other nations witnessing how weak Konoha has become. And with Rasa dead, assumed to be killed by Konoha, a grudge forms, which threatens world peace with another Great Shinobi War. That's the basic recap of everything you need to know, so now let's step in and look at what our heroes are facing, shall we? But first, I want to say, welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. We've noticed that a lot of people that are watching our videos aren't necessarily subscribed to the channel. We understand that YouTube does do a very good job at recommending what you want to watch, but if you don't want to miss a video and if you want to support the Amagi, make sure you click that subscribe button. Thanks so much. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. Kakashi stood on the roof of the hospital where his squad was located. The rain was pouring from the skies as he looked out over the village. Smoke was still rising into the air from certain parts that had been devastated. The Hokage rock had been defaced, the image of Hiruzen having been spitefully destroyed. Kakashi thought back on everything that had happened and couldn't help but feel responsible. It was he who had pushed his team too far. As their master, he should have known they weren't ready. He had not heeded the warnings from Jiraiya, and instead allowed the presence of the Chunin Exams and the need to show the world that they were a force to be reckoned with left them all but defenseless. Their weakness was laid bare. Their inability to protect themselves from other nations had been witnessed. An attack so small, led by a nation that had existed for barely a decade, had suddenly brought ruin upon what was supposed to be the most powerful village in all the world. They were a laughingstock, and now the innocent would die with the rest of the shinobi world. Behind him, a voice spoke. "You know it wasn't your fault, right?" Kakashi turned his head, his eye witnessing Jiraiya out of the corner. Kakashi looked back. There was an eerie silence over the village. So much destruction, yet not a sound. Not even the birds nor insects that could normally be heard would dare lift their voice. Even when the sun was shining, there was no sound. It was as if life came to a screeching halt. "I know." "Then why are you being so hard on yourself?" Jiraiya asked. "You couldn't estimate when Orochimaru would have attacked us, and even if you hadn't attempted to train Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, they still would have likely ended up in the hospital in an attempt to defeat a full-tailed beast like the One Tail. At worst, they would be dead. None of this was your fault. It was an issue that's been boiling for over a decade." Kakashi sighed. I'm not entirely sure. I think we could have stopped it. Maybe the Nine Tails wouldn't have heeded commands, but Isobu and Matatabi would have come to our aid without hesitation. If only I had used Kamui earlier before Sasuke got involved. Perhaps none of this would have ever happened. Jiraiya walked to the edge and looked down on the devastation. Perhaps you're right. Maybe it wouldn't have happened. But what could have been and what is changes nothing. We can agonize over the tiniest missteps in judgment and how they attributed to a cataclysm, or we can actively try to mend the issues in hopes of at least lessening the collateral damage. Kakashi looked at Jiraiya. "What do you plan to do, Jiraiya-sensei?" The old toad hermit looked over the village and toward the Hokage's monument and took a deep breath. I'm going to provide the people with hope. I've been tasked by the council to find a new Hokage, Tsunade in particular. She's strong, wise, intelligent, and she's got nerves of tungsten. If anyone can lead us through this mess, it's her. Kakashi bobbed his head in agreement. Jiraiya looked over. What about you? What will you do to solve this crisis? I don't know, Kakashi stated bluntly. Jiraiya turned his whole body to face Kakashi. I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to go back there and continue to teach your students. They're our village's deterrent. If war does come and we can't stop it, the only choice we'll have is ending it quickly. And that means we'll need the tailed beasts fully operational. Your mission is now and always has been the same, and it's more important than any other. It's your job to bring back Konoha's military might. Now get to it. There's no time left to waste. Jiraiya then disappeared, leaving Kakashi alone. Soaked to the bone, he turned around and slowly made his way back to the door from which he came. Stepping in, he made his way back down the stairs and into the hospital room. Sasuke was lying in bed, resting. His eyes were closed, and he now no longer possessed a ventilator. He was capable of breathing on his own. Sakura sat by his bedside, her head propped on the cushy mattress where Sasuke laid. Her somber expression was like a visual example of the village's entire mood as a whole. Hopeless, scared, sorrowful, and unsure of the future. Kakashi looked over at Naruto's bed and found it empty. Naruto's things having been packed up and taken. Where's Naruto? Kakashi asked. Sakura didn't even look to him. She spoke with a voice of near apathy. He left this morning. And where did he go? Sakura gave a slow, energyless shrug. He didn't say. I didn't ask. Kakashi stood there for a moment. Are you mad at him? She shook her head. No more angry than I am at myself. Kakashi gave a slow nod. It seems we're all feeling the weight of this, but I bet Naruto is feeling it worse than any of us. He probably blames himself for everything. Sakura looked up. Well, it is sort of his fault. Not that it's really something to be blamed for. He just got stuck with the strongest tailed beast who just so happens to be an utter asshole. Kakashi couldn't disagree. Sakura's view of things, as pessimistic and potentially crude as it was true, no matter how blunt it actually was. Kakashi turned around to leave. Sakura's eyes raised to the back of her mentor's head. Where are you going, sensei? Kakashi looked back at her for a second. I'm going to talk to Naruto. Kakashi walked through the streets. The raining had lightened into a weak mist. He made his way toward the home of Naruto Uzumaki. There was no indication that he had returned home except for the welcome mat, which had been moved. The underside of the mat had the impression of a key in it, signifying that Naruto had taken the key, likely having lost the original in the ensuing fight. He knocked on the door, but there was no answer. He turned the handle and felt the door give way, opening. Stepping inside, he saw that Naruto had not even bothered taking his shoes off at the door, instead tossing them to the side in the main living room. His backpack was also sitting in the middle of the room. He passed it by towards Naruto's bedroom and knocked on it. Go away, a voice said from within. You know I'm not going to do that, Naruto. Now let me in. There was silence for a few passing moments before Naruto's voice spoke. It's already unlocked. Kakashi pushed open the door and stepped in to see merely a lump under the covers of the boy's bed. Ah, catching up on your sleep. A good idea. You're gonna need all the rest you can possibly get for when we resume training. There was no response. Kakashi sighed and pulled up a seat. Maybe we should talk first. You know it's not your fault, right? If I had more control, I could have bent the Nine Tails' will to my own. But I failed, and now Sasuke's hurt and people are dead. And now the world can go to war, and I can't stop it. Kakashi looked down. What would have been and what is changes nothing. We can agonize over how our tiniest missteps in judgment may have attributed to a cataclysm, or we can actively try and mend the issues in hopes of at least lessening the collateral damage. Naruto, you're our hope for the future, so stiffen that lip. You are the fulcrum to which the entire world is now balancing. What you do next matters. That's not helping any, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto stated. And in all honesty, Kakashi knew that it likely wouldn't. It would just place more pressure on Naruto to be perfect. But then again, Kakashi owed Naruto the truth. The reality was that this was the shinobi world. Your actions mattered, and sometimes you could only make a bad decision. Sometimes there was no right choice. Sometimes you had to choose between the lesser of two evils, and it's not always that those things were so clear, so cut and dry. Sometimes you messed up. These were things Kakashi had known all his life. His own father, Sakamo Hatake, had made such a decision, and it had about as much impact on Konoha as this did. The event had led to Sakamo's ritual suicide, and now it felt like Naruto was feeling the same way. Kakashi hated that. He believed in honor just as much as the next guy, but killing yourself to win it back helped nobody. When you made a mistake, you had to work hard to rectify it. Maybe it wouldn't remove the stain from your name, but a dead man couldn't save the world, nor could he make up for the mistakes he made that put everyone in that position in the first place. Only someone still living and willing to make a difference could actually do that. Perhaps what I'm saying isn't helping you any, but it's not supposed to. What I'm saying isn't about you, Naruto. This is about the village, about the greater good, about the world in entirety. There are going to be children without parents, innocent villagers forced to fight in a war they don't believe in, and you have the ability and obligation to stop them. You don't have time to sulk. You've got to buck up, decide to fix your mistakes, and devote your existence to doing what you're supposed to do. Kakashi grabbed the covers and slowly pulled them off Naruto's face. "And what if I mess that up too?" Naruto asked, his face stained with tears, unable to even look Kakashi in the eyes. "What if I fail?" Kakashi leaned forward and put his hand on Naruto's shoulder. "Then we do it together. We're Beast Squad, a single unit. If we fail, we fail. But until we fail, we're going to do our best to succeed. And if war comes, then we'll fight and give our all to limit the damage done and save as many lives as possible, even if that means dying in the process. That's what it means to be a shinobi, Naruto. You're a shinobi, and so am I, and so are Sakura and Sasuke. We're all ninja, and that means doing what is necessary for the greater good. But I'm going to tell you now, I believe in you. I believe you can complete your training and save the world, and we'll be here beside you, helping you along the way." Naruto would suddenly hug Kakashi. Startled by this, Kakashi pulled away, almost dragging Naruto out of the bed alongside him. But he gripped Naruto in a tight embrace and held him closely. "Come, we have to help Sasuke and Sakura get their chins up too. Let's go." Together they left for the hospital. By the time they returned, Sasuke had already awakened and was getting ready to be discharged. Itachi was already there, helping him get his clothes on correctly and not inside out and backwards as his groggy brain was trying. "There you go. Now you look as professional and intimidating as ever." Sasuke gave a weak smile and coughed. He wheezed a little. Itachi rubbed his back. "It's okay. You're okay." Sasuke returned to his full height. He walked with Itachi out of the room to the hall where Sakura was waiting. Naruto and Kakashi were on their way as they spoke. Sasuke and Naruto's eyes met for a moment. They just stood there, staring at each other. Naruto was the first to avert his eyes. "I'm sorry, Sasuke. I hurt you. I can understand if you're furious with me. I deserve it. Please feel free to seek retribution. I won't fight back." Sasuke stepped forward. Naruto pointed to his own chin and squeezed his eyes shut. He knew that being punched in the chin was nothing compared to what happened to Sasuke, but he hoped it would serve at least as the start to his penance. As Sasuke approached, however, there was no swing of a fist. Instead, it was the embrace of a friend. "I forgive you, Naruto." These simple words brought tears to the boy's eyes. Sakura even felt herself getting swept up in the moment. Kakashi smiled as he witnessed his team slowly repairing itself, healing back together again. And so they began to train. Sasuke was having a hard time keeping up, however. Itachi had been told to stay close just in case someone made an attempt on their lives. Kakashi kept commanding them to train with their tailed beast modes. Since version 2 was out of the question for Naruto, he decided to focus on version 1. Sasuke could still access version 2, but his previous injuries made it difficult. He would strain to enter it. Within his head, he spoke, "Matatabi, more power, I gotta grow faster." The beast shook its head. "In your condition, going too much further could kill you." "More power, Matatabi!" Itachi watched from a distance as Sasuke entered version 2, but almost as soon as he had, the form ended. Sasuke hit the ground, coughing up blood. Itachi rushed to his side and helped him. "Don't strain yourself. Your lungs are different now. Your stamina won't be the same as it used to be. Trust me." Sasuke spat the remaining bloody mucus from his mouth. "I guess you and me are more alike than we thought." He smiled, his teeth pink with blood. Itachi nodded. "Two different issues, the exact same symptoms. It's like looking into a mirror." Meanwhile, Sakura was sitting there. Kakashi would walk to her. "Call on Isobu." She shook her head. "He won't come out." Kakashi was confused. "Why?" She looked up. "When Sasuke got hurt and Naruto lost himself, me and Isobu had a fight. We haven't talked since I blew up on him." Kakashi knelt down. "Then go make friends with him." She shook her head. "I said some pretty rotten stuff. I was pretty mean to him, and I told him not to come to me anymore if he was just gonna hold me back." Kakashi put a hand on her shoulder. "Do you think you and Isobu are friends, Sakura? Were you friends before this?" She nodded. "Best friends, I thought." Kakashi offered a reassuring smile. "Even the best of friends have a spat. The fact that we can bear our emotions in full force towards them is proof of how much we trust them. That even if we're hurtful, we feel safe expressing ourselves. Now, go make up." Sakura nodded. Entering her subconscious, she came to where Isobu was. He sat there, face turned around in shame. "Iso?" He didn't respond. "Sobi," she called again. He kept his back turned towards her and hid his face. But suddenly he felt two warm hands on his face. His eye opened and he looked down to see Sakura with a concerned look. He gently tried to pull away, but she wouldn't let him. "Are you okay, Sobi?" "I'm sorry," he said. It was as if he'd been waiting days to say it. Sakura let off a soft and melancholic smile before it returned to concern. "No, I'm sorry. I was so mean to you. I just wanted to help my friends, to protect them, but I shouldn't have gotten so mad at you. You were just trying to protect me. It was wrong to be so callous. I know you lost a good friend in the past, and I didn't act with proper feelings towards that." The big beast tried to speak, with tears rolling down its cheeks. "I was overprotective. I just couldn't bear to lose someone I love again. It hurt so bad. I still haven't healed from that. And if you were taken from me too, I wouldn't want to live anymore. I would probably just burnt out all my chakra till I was dissipated forever." Sakura leaned forward and kissed the beast's chin. "You're such an innocent soul. Even if I die, Isobu, I'll be with you forever. I promise. Even if I have to bind all of my chakra to yours, I'll never leave you." This was their training. This was Isobu and Sakura's training for the time. Isobu, for as big as he was, required a lot of emotional maintenance, and time could be spared to help the big lug cope. Naruto, on the other hand, found himself in the opposite direction. He was standing before the cage and arguing with the Ninetales. "You bastard! You're a murderer! A killer! You killed your own brother and sister just because they're protecting a village!" Naruto shouted. "Don't feign to know me, you lowly piece of trash," Kurama shouted back. "I am a god, a force of nature. You cannot keep me bound in a body like this. One day I will escape again, and when I do, I'll kill you and I'll kill everything and everyone you love. And I'll do it just to see you suffer in agony and torment, for no other reason than because I can. I will never serve you." Kakashi stood there watching the scene. Sasuke was sitting under a tree with Itachi, taking a break and recovering. Sasuke almost looked like he might fall asleep in his big brother's embrace. Sakura was shedding tears through a smile, and Naruto was shedding his through a scowl. Jiraiya would eventually return to them, Tsunade installed as the next Hokage. "How's training coming?" Kakashi shrugged. "Sakura may have to be our new spearhead. Naruto can't control his beast, and Sasuke's just not strong enough to exert himself anymore." Jiraiya sighed. "Well, we get what we get, and we don't get upset. That's something I try to live by. We just need to focus on what we can do, so let's do our best." They would continue to train, learning new techniques outside of their Jinchuriki training, and would grow stronger by themselves. However, it becomes obvious that Naruto is not going to be making any progress into his training with the Ninetales. They were unsure of what to do. That's what Sasuke and Matatabi were talking about while speaking with each other, or at least that's what it evolved to. "We have a big responsibility on our hands. At any time, Suna could launch its retaliatory attack on us, and the entire world would be watching. If we can't defend Konoha, then it's gonna be World War IV. You have my undying support," Matatabi told Sasuke, hoping to ease his stress. This didn't help him much. "I don't question that, Matatabi. It has to do with me, though. With Naruto. I'm not strong enough to be your Jinchuriki. I can't sustain version 2 without hurting myself. And Naruto can barely use version 1 without losing control. I don't know what to do." Matatabi thought about it for a time. "When I was in Kumo, I recall my Jinchuriki and Gyuki's Jinchuriki at the time visiting an island. At the time, I and Gyuki were rather hostile towards our vessels. But after training there, our Jinchuriki didn't even require our permission or cooperation to make use of our power. Maybe Naruto could benefit from that." Sasuke thought about it and told Kakashi. Letting Matatabi talk through him, Kakashi and the beast discussed. "Where is this place?" Kakashi asked. Matatabi seemed to have an issue answering that question. "You see, that's the issue. I'm not entirely sure." "Elaborate," Kakashi demanded. Matatabi would go on to say that the place they were looking for was an island in the Land of Lightning, and it wasn't even actually an island, but a massive turtle whose back was essentially an entire ecosystem. It didn't stay in one place, but it did have a general area where it liked to inhabit. The issue was that it was under Kumo's control, and simply going there without permission would be an act of war. Kakashi would then discuss this with Tsunade. "Well, it'll be war anyway. If Matatabi says this is a safe place for Naruto to train and control the Ninetales, then we should try. Do your best not to be detected." Kakashi would then prepare to leave with his team, as well as Itachi, who was there to support Sasuke. They would take a boat out to sea and head toward the Land of Lightning. This trip was rather long, though Sakura seemed to be having the time of her life. Her connection to Isobu caused her to develop a deep love for the sea. Naruto, on the other hand, was busy puking over the side of the ship. Sasuke was neutral. The salt air was doing him good. Unbeknownst to them, as they left, Konoha was slowly being surrounded by Suna shinobi, ready to finish the job. As Team 7 sailed along, they would eventually see the island not too far off, but they couldn't just sail up to it lest they be detected. So instead, they called upon Isobu, who would appear from Sakura in the water below them. They would climb onto him, and much to everyone save Sakura's chagrin, they'd have to step into his mouth. It was either that or drown, so they did as they were told. Closing his mouth, they sank down below the waves like a submarine and began making their way to the island without anyone knowing. Isobu would sneak up and bring his head above the water and help Team 7 on. They would climb out of his mouth and onto the turtle's shell. Sakura would return Isobu within her, and the squad of 5 would make their way through the brush in the direction that Matatabi through Sasuke was leading them. They would come to a waterfall and Sasuke would point to it. Matatabi says that this is the waterfall of truth. It's meant to test the hearts of all who enter to see if they're true. If they are, the path will open. But Naruto will have to face his own inner demons if he wants to pass. Naruto heartily agrees to it, knowing that there is no other choice and he'll do it without fail. He sits down and begins to meditate. As he does, he's met with his dark doppelganger, a creature with Naruto's face but eyes full of malice. At first, Naruto tries to fight, but he hears the voice of Matatabi from far away telling him that he must defeat the darkness in another way. The darkness speaks. "What are you doing here? Trying to train? Trying to control the Nine Tails? We saw how well that went before, didn't we?" Naruto shakes his head. "No, I wasn't prepared." The darkness scoffs. "And you're ready now? What's changed? Are you so sure you'll be able to do it this time? Or will you lose control again and hurt your friends? Maybe you'll even succeed in killing them this time." Naruto once more shakes his head. "My friends are stronger now than they were then." The darkness stares into his eyes as if asking him if anyone could truly believe what he was saying. "Stronger? Sakura isn't sure she could even get Isobu to fight, and Sasuke can't even sneeze without needing a nap. You think either of them will be able to help you? Let's not kid ourselves. You failed once and you'll fail again, and this time you'll actually kill Sasuke." Naruto looked down, thinking about what he had done, how he had hurt Sasuke so badly. The darkness approached him. Yes, remember that pain. That's the cost of failure. Sasuke will die, Sakura will die, Itachi, Kakashi, and everyone in the Hidden Leaf will perish because of your failures. Naruto felt his emotions getting the better of him, but then he heard a voice. 2 voices. "Naruto, it's okay. None of what happened is your fault. Yes, you had a misstep, but that's life. Nobody ever said it would be easy. You can't be perfect, and there's no path forward through life where you never hurt anyone. Accidents happen, and you need to know that this is okay." In reality, they had noticed that Naruto had started crying, the weight of his inner demons dragging him down. But this wasn't something ignored. Sasuke and Sakura knew exactly what this meant, so they stepped over to him and knelt down beside him to let him know that they were there and they cared about him. "I've already forgiven you, Naruto," Sasuke said. "Now I need you to forgive yourself." Sakura wrapped her arms around Naruto from the side. "You're so strong, Naruto. Don't start doubting yourself now. Win or lose, success or failure, we do it together. The only way you can truly fail is if you don't even try. Don't let the doubt win. Push it away and choose to try." Within his subconscious, the shades of Sakura and Sasuke appeared beside him and began to hug their friend. Naruto felt their love and smiled, taking a deep, calming breath. As he opened his eyes, the dark Naruto was gone and the path forward opened. The trio stood up and entered the cave. They looked around at all the carvings. One showed a strange octopus-bull hybrid. Sasuke spoke. "Gyuki, that's what Matatabi called it. She says it's the 8 tails." They moved further and found another mural, this time depicting a cat. "And this is Matatabi herself. This here marks the entrance to the chamber." Sasuke opened the door. As they went to enter, Sasuke stopped both his brother and Kakashi. "Only Jinchuriki are permitted to access this room." Kakashi stopped for a moment and then spoke. "No, I can't let you go alone. If something happens, I need to be there to stop it." Sasuke offered a reassuring smile. "It's okay, Sensei. You need to let us go. Let us fend for ourselves. We'll come back, I promise." Kakashi looked down. "You better." Itachi offered Sasuke a reassuring smile. "I believe in you, in all of you. I'll wait here patiently until you return." Sasuke smiled and stepped in, the door closing behind them. Inside, Naruto looked around. "So, what now?" Sasuke sat down beside Naruto and Sakura, beckoning them to follow. "You need to enter your subconscious and open the gate. Let Kurama out, and then force him to give up all of his chakra to you. Then you need to put a new seal on him. Are you going to be able to do this?" Naruto looked down. "I'm not sure. And if I let him out again and fail, he'll kill you guys." Sasuke shook his head. No, you won't fight alone. We'll be there too, just focus on taking his chakra. You have to want it more than him. And remember, we'll be with you every step of the way. Naruto nodded and closed his eyes. Upon closing them, he was inside the same room where he always found Kurama. But this time, by his side were Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura was obviously disturbed by looking into the cage and the eyes within it, but Sasuke maintained his cool and even offered Naruto a smile. Just rip the tag off and undo the lock. We're with you. Naruto stepped up to the gate. Kurama looked down upon him. Have you come to beg for more chakra? Or perhaps you've come to let me finish the job? Naruto took a deep breath, looking back at his friends. No, I've come to subjugate you, he said, his attention returned to the beast. Kurama let out a laugh that shook the walls and caused the water reflecting from the ground to ripple and grow choppy. Please, open the gate and try. I'm begging you. I must see you try this. It'll be the funniest thing to happen to me in the last millennium. Naruto reached up for the tag and ripped it away. There was the lock. He looked as Kurama's grin widened. Naruto lifted his shirt and held it in his teeth as he pulled back the sleeve on his right arm. The seal appeared on his stomach, the swirl that resembled his namesake. On his hand, another swirl appeared as a formula was written down his forearm. He took a deep breath through the nose and then pressed his hand to his stomach, giving a quick twist. The lock began to open. Once it had been completely removed, Kurama's pupils narrowed and the door shot open with such speed that it knocked Naruto back. Kurama came out with such force and passion that a feral bark could be heard, as if he were no more than a wild animal. For the first time, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke witnessed the true power and size of Kurama. Naruto shuddered at the beast. Guys, we can't beat it. Sasuke turned Naruto around and slapped him. If you give up now, everyone dies. Fight to the death. Take his chakra or die. Those are your only options now. Go down fighting or know that you did nothing to stop people from dying. Naruto rubbed his face. You're right, you're right. He slapped his cheeks a couple more times to hype himself up. I can do this. He turned to face Kurama as both Sasuke and Sakura put their hands on his shoulder. He turned to look at Sakura, who spoke. No, we can do this. Naruto smiled and nodded. He rushed forward as Sakura and Sasuke summoned Matatabi and Isobu within Naruto's subconscious. Together, the beasts and their Jinchuriki faced Kurama again. Its power was great, but their conviction granted them new strength, broken limits that were reset higher and stronger than before. As Kurama charged a tailed beast ball, they responded by firing back their own, which caused Kurama's to pop in his face like a balloon. It knocked Kurama back. Naruto rushed over to his tail and began trying to pull the chakra out of it. It was a hard job and he wasn't making much progress. Kurama then stood and whipped his tail, sending Naruto flying. He was caught by Isobu. Are you okay, little fella? Isobu asked. Naruto responded with a ring gesture. You'll just have to try something else. Don't you have any sealing techniques? Matatabi asked. Naruto shrugged. I don't know. Matatabi looked at him for a moment. You're an Uzumaki, for heaven's sake. You have to have at least one. Figure it out. Naruto would form a Rasengan and Isobu would then supercharge it with his own chakra. He then flung Naruto at Kurama, who would then proceed to be smashed with a Three Tails Big Ball Rasengan. Kurama would go rolling back, as would Naruto. He would then weave hand gestures. Suddenly, torii gates would come down from above and hold Kurama down so he couldn't move. Naruto thought for a second. I am not sure what to do now. Matatabi looked down with a startled expression. What? Figure it out, we're gonna die. Naruto thought about it for a second and then felt two hands wrap around him from behind. He turned back to see a strange red-haired woman there. Despite how close she was at the moment, she didn't feel threatening. Her smile was warm. She kissed his cheek and suddenly from Naruto's back shot adamantine chains. These chains would grip the Nine Tails chakra and begin to pull. The woman spoke in his ear. You want this more. Show him how much you want it. He desires to keep his chakra for himself. You want it for your friends, for your village. Don't take no for an answer. Naruto let out a battle cry and the chains pulled harder. Suddenly, he ripped the chakra from Kurama's body and pulled it into himself. His body was suddenly set alight with golden chakra and he felt his power increase even further. He would look up and push Kurama back into the cage and seal it again. Suddenly, the three of them awakened in the chamber and saw Naruto glowing golden. The three of them cheered and celebrated together, but as soon as they stood, Matatabi spoke. Be careful with how you use that power. Now that this new border has been crossed, when you take chakra from Kurama, realize he'll take some from you too. Overuse of this will result in your death, so please be careful. Naruto would nod and the three would exit the room. There, they planned to tell Kakashi the good news, but before they could, they realized that he was upset. What is it? Naruto asked. Kakashi spoke. I just received word from Tsunade. Konoha is currently under attack by Suna. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Sasuke would curse. There's no way we can make it back in time. Sakura looked at him. I actually think we can. The group looked to her. Isobu just told me he can use space-time ninjutsu, and he says he can get us back ASAP. Kakashi's eyes widened. Why didn't he tell us sooner? Sakura let off a nervous smile. He says it never came up? Kakashi shook his head. Just use it now. Sakura nodded and put her hands together. With the blink of an eye, they were gone. They rematerialized at the place where Isobu was most comfortable. His temple that had been built for him in Konoha. They rushed outside and saw the devastation, heard the crying and saw the explosions. Itachi looked around. I've got to regroup with the Anbu. Kakashi nodded. He then looked to his squad. Listen, I've got to go check on Tsunade. I need the three of you to go down there. Use whatever new strength you've found to subdue the enemy. Assert your dominance. Show the world that the Leaf isn't some frail village. The trio offered an agreement in unison. Kakashi would run off. Naruto looked back. It's now or never. Sakura entered her version 2 cloak and began to make her way down into the fray. Sasuke stood there. I don't know how much help I'll be able to give, but I'll do my best. Naruto put his hand on Sasuke's shoulder. That's all I'm asking for. Let's show the world what deterrence looks like. Naruto turned around, still in his chakra cloak, and made his way off. Within Sasuke's head, he heard Matatabi. Unlock my seal. If you do, I'll use my chakra from myself instead of channeling it through you. It'll help me take on my true form without dragging you down. Sasuke, trusting his beast, agreed, unlocking the seal. This allowed Matatabi to take true form without channeling it through Sasuke, yet at the same time keeping enough chakra within him to keep him alive. However, the appearance of Matatabi was viewed by the current Kazekage as a calling card. Gaara, in his infinite insanity, decided to let Shukaku out. None would dare stand against Suna and live. The massive beast would begin to rampage through the village, but Matatabi ignored it, choosing to aid the left flank where they were weakest. Sakura kept it to the right flank, and Naruto charged right up the middle. It was he who saw Shukaku's appearance and knew that he had to do something about it. He rushed up through the enemies, shredding them as he went along until he stopped at the center. Gaara! He called out. The beast looked down. Oh, look how the mighty has fallen, he cried. Kurama, unable to take command, a prisoner to a human child, a slave indeed. I may also be sealed, but the question here is if it is I who's the prisoner, or my Jinchuriki. Naruto heard this and thought about it. He took more of Kurama's chakra and formed it into a tailed beast itself, a massive golden fox appearing before them. He began to attack the beast. As Kurama and Shukaku fought, it was obvious that Naruto, despite the power of his beast, was not capable of keeping up with Shukaku, who knew how to use his powers better. Shukaku would be capable of knocking Kurama back, causing him to roll across the ground. He raised himself up to his feet. Before he could do anything, Shukaku was on top of him again, its sand covering Kurama, threatening to drown the beast. Truly a shame, Shukaku shouted. You're but a shell of your former self, Kurama. Your power has dwindled. Perhaps the greatest mercy I can show you is kill you, in hopes that you'll regenerate into the true warrior you used to be. The sand began to close in tighter, attempting to crush the beast. But Naruto saw it. He saw Gaara sticking up out of the center. Naruto wormed his way up through the sand. Naruto spoke. Gaara isn't your prisoner. Not anymore. You're done. Suddenly, Kurama's head pushed out and bit the face of Shukaku. Kurama's mouth was filled with sand, but the most important thing was that he managed to pull out Gaara. This caused Shukaku's body to fall to nothing. Naruto forced Kurama to open its mouth and free Gaara. Gaara opened his eyes, startled at what he was seeing. Naruto looked down at him. Call off the attack, Gaara, now! Gaara jumped at the sound of Naruto's voice. He barely needed to say anything though. His people were already retreating from Konoha's forces, and with that, the battle came to an end and Konoha was defended. Gaara was captured, and it was revealed that the seal Gaara had over Shukaku was weak, which is partly what led to his insanity. They would apply a new seal, and for the first time in years, Gaara was capable of sleeping through the night. Suna's forces were further demolished, and this led to Suna eventually failing as a village and being abandoned altogether. However, this battle served as a reminder to the world that Konoha still had its beasts, and they were not a force to be trifled with. And with Isobu's teleportation, it became spread far and wide that Konoha now had the means for an instant strike anywhere in the world, which led to paranoia and once more an age of peaceful deterrence. Due to this, peace was restored. Sasuke continued to have issues with his lungs from that point on, but Matatabi was always there to help him. And Sakura and Isobu ended up becoming the ideal specimens for what a Jinchuriki should be. And while Naruto didn't have any real relationship with Kurama, his control over the tailed beast allowed him to take the top spot as strongest Jinchuriki. It was fear of his ever-growing potential that helped keep the other villages in line. And that's the end of the story. I mean, it doesn't have to be. If this video was viewed enough, maybe I'll make another part. But as for me, I consider this story wrapped up for now. Be sure you leave a comment and tell me what your favorite parts were, or tell me what you think should have been changed. Until next time, peace out.
Did you enjoy our video? Well then be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.